morning, good afternoon, good evening, and wherever you're watching in the world, welcome along to TTL F1. And of course, this is the 10th round of the season, the penultimate round of this season, which takes us to the United States Grand Prix and the Circuit of the Americas in Texas. My name is Kieran McGinley, and joining me in the commentary box, as always, is the lovely Mr. James Head. James, how are you tonight?
I'm doing really well, Kieran. How's yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Looking forward to what is going to be a potential championship decider. Having a look at the tables, James, could be decided tonight.
It could be decided tonight. Of course, Recon taking pole position last time out, and again, Carlsberg taking the win last time out in Japan. Of course, we are at the Circuit of the Americas, and looking at the championship standings, Recon currently leading the way on 123 points. Carlsberg in second on 101. If it works out that Recon wins and Carlsberg is second, and Navy and Warren both finishing behind, then Recon wins the championship here tonight, hands down. I hope that Recon will win the championship. I think he's been never the consistent driver. Looking down the rest of the drivers' standings, and I'll go through them now. Carlsberg in second on 101. Navy in third on 97. VRT Warren is in fourth on 80 with Carlsberg on 75. Spike in sixth, a little bit of a jump down on 51 points with Mashibo in seventh on 40. King J in eighth on 37. Troy in ninth on 35. And Lighty in 10th on 34, as is Toxic as well. He is in 11th on 34. Sean on 28 and 12th. Key and Chapelletti tied for 13th on 15. Rafa in 15th on 13, with Cass and the Goat on 12 points respectively, tied for 16th. Chaos in 18th on 8. Maze in 19th on 6. And Jeffrey in 20th on 4. Judging by the top three, I make it a 26-point gap between Recon and Navy coming into tonight's race. This is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, I'm going to take your word for it as well, because as we all know, the one thing I don't do is the maths. That's strictly somebody else does that. But yeah, absolutely right. Recon, 123 points there. Carlsberg, 101. You have got Navy and Warren there. Carlsberg is an outside chance, so it's down to 5 drivers at this moment in time, I would say. Even if Spike got the full amount of points there, he's going to find it hard to really keep up there. He's still mathematically in with a chance, but I don't know, it's going to be very, very tough there. In fact, is he mathematically in with a shout? No, he's not. I was right. For some reason, I thought you got 50 points for a race win. I don't know why I thought that. No, it's 25 points for a race win. Therefore, it is 50. Final round? Unless it is, well, it won't be. I hope it's not. But you also get a point for the fastest lap, so that's 26. That will be 52. So yeah, Spike is not in the championship running, but he could have a chance of getting up the table. I've been really impressed with Spike, actually. You know, he started this season, first race on a wheel at the first round of the season. That's such a brave thing to jump straight into. And actually, he's got a good bit of pace about him. He's a former champion for a reason, and I really like to see him get that pace back up.
Yeah, I think Spike has done fantastically well over the last couple of races, especially. 51 points currently in the Toro Rosso. He's in 6th position. You could call him best of the rest, I think, in terms of the championship standings. Of course, he's got Mashiro, the TTSL champion, behind him. And with a former champion outscoring the current champion, I think that is going to serve him well for tonight. And hopefully Spike does well here at the Circuit of the Americas in the US of A.
Yeah, and it's a track that's pretty much designed for battling, designed for overtaking. It's one of the tracks that the drivers love here. What I will say is the Constructors' Championship, Racing Point are leading 164 points compared to Ferrari's 141, Alfa Romeo in third on 129, it's McLaren in fourth on 97, Red Bull and Renault joint on 78 points, both in 5th place, Haas in 7th on 71, Mercedes and Toro Rosso joint in 8th place there on 59 points, and then Williams in 10th on 52. Very bizarre coming to the end of the season, James, where you've got 2 sets of teams on the same amount of points. That's quite bizarre.
It is quite bizarre, but I think it comes to show what sort of season we've had here in TTL F1. And I mean, the last couple of rounds, I think it was round 8 or 9, certainly, where we had drivers scoring less than 100 points. I've never known a league ever to be like that coming in towards the final couple of rounds of the season. Obviously, now that a few have scored 100 points, only Recon and Recon and Carlsberg have only managed to score 100 points or more. it really comes to show on paper what sort of season, as I say, that we've had. And Recon and Carlsbury and Navy fighting there for the championship into possibly final round of the season. Let's see how it unfolds tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, and hopefully you'll be joining us all the way through. Show some love for Kota. It's a fantastic track here. 20 corners takes us around the streets of the streets. I would love it to be the streets of Texas. First Grand Prix back in 2012. 5.513 kilometers here, and we're going to be racing around one of the tracks here, James, that can really open up the overtaking opportunities. Sure, it's got the first section there of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, where it's pretty much single file. You can go too wide through there if you really want to. Main braking zones and overtaking opportunities, well, turn 11 can be one, but it's right before that long straight down towards turn 12, and you've got DRS there, so you'll see drivers actually setting themselves up going into turn 11 rather than making the move stick. Turn 12 is the big one. That is going to be the main overtaking zone going in towards these next couple of laps, and 20, I believe 28 all in all here at the Circuit of the Americas. You'll have to correct me on that if I'm wrong. But then you've got also turns 13, 14 and 15. Now this is a section that's pretty much designed for cars to go side by side. Don't be scared and don't be shocked to see those cars going side by side. They do put up a very, very good battle through there. And then of course turn 1, the first turn. Such an odd corner because you've got the start-finish straight, which is kind of flat, and then all of a sudden, that sharp incline goes all the way up towards turn 1, and it can help you in the braking zone. You can brake a little bit later going into the first corner, and I tell you what, it does promote some dive bombs down the inside. We've seen them over our time here, and let's hope we get some clean racing. But James here, I think some of these drivers will be loving this track. As I said, it's a track built for overtaking.
It's a track for the drivers and it's a track for the fans as well. I think everyone is going to enjoy the racing that we've got for you here tonight in TTL F1 around the Circuit of the Americas. And just to bear in mind as well, I've actually seen overtaking through turn 19 before. Round the outside through turn 19, I kid you not, it was probably one of the best overtakes I've seen around here. I can't remember who or what happened, but turn 19 I saw a move around the outside, and I think honestly, it will prove to me that the drivers are ready for tonight. And looking early on, actually, bit of a tyre difference in some of them. Spike, interestingly, going on a set of hard compound of tyres. He's the first one out on track. But in behind him, I think, is Toxic, and he's on a set of soft compound of tyres. What do you make of that one?
Well, it's the thing about Kota is that it's kind of in the middle of tyre degradation. Some drivers will wear out their tyres more than others. It's going to be a track that really tests that. Obviously, there's a lot of high-speed corners, but there's a lot of straights as well. So I think the tyre around here is quite balanced, actually. Don't be shocked to see somebody do the softer hards. It really is possible around here. Let's have a ride on board with Spike then as we make our way through the last couple of corners and now on towards the start-finish straight now. Across the start-finish line, onwards now towards turn 1, barrelling our way up now. And you can see the sharp incline as we make our way towards turn 1. Curve on the right-hand side, you can use it to open up the corner very wide on entry and then narrows really sharply on exit as we head now through turn 2. Now this is the S section we're coming towards. You've got to hope that you've got enough air on the car to get you through 3, 4, 5, then through turn 6. You're slowing the car down as you go through this S section. So easy to get it wrong, especially if you've got the wrong setup on the brake bias as well. If you get onto the brakes there, you can really lose that back end. Over the crest of turn 10, in now towards turn 11 now. Looking for that braking zone, which is just after the 100-metre board. You're braking just about 80 metres before the corner. Nice and turned in there. Nice and smooth on the accelerator because that exit is crucial. All the way now through the DRS zone, onwards towards turn 12. You've got plenty of time to think about your braking point here. Have a look on the right-hand side for the brake marker boards. You're braking again about 80 metres before the corner. Nice and turning in there. Lovely and smooth on the controls is Spike there. Here we go then through turn 13. Misleading corner. Be careful of that camber. It can catch you out and can promote understeer. Now heading in towards turn 15 here. Nice and easy on the exit there. A little bit of wheel spin from Spike and the Toro Rosso. But now we head through the triple right-hander, through 16, through 17, through Verstappen and through turn 18. Onwards now towards the penultimate corner of turn 19. Again, a very misleading corner. Watch out for the curve on the right-hand side. That can easily invalidate your lap time if you push too far. In towards turn 20, which cambers away from the apex. And onwards now towards that start-finish line where Spike puts a 133.8 on the board on a set of the hard tyres.
Yeah, very nice lap there from Spike at 33.8. Tux again behind him, by the way, had invalidated on that lap, so didn't set any prior lap time. I think that was Mashiro coming across the line. Schiaparelli goes at 31 flat already. You must be kidding me.
Well, the track's only going to get quicker. It's only going to get quicker as well in the Renault. So that is a 131 on the board. We'll have to see how other drivers fare on that one. We've got Navy heading across the line, I believe, to start a flying lap. Sean's come across the line to complete the lap. 135.0 there. Let's have a look at Warren. He's making his way now through the S section of 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. A little bit deep there. I believe that was into turn 6 there. Just slightly too deep, maybe pushing the boundaries a little bit too much there, but he's got away with it, so he'll carry on. Meanwhile, Key is the one next to the line as he makes his way towards the final corner, in towards turn 20. Over the bump he goes, and onwards towards the start-finish line. Comes at you very quickly there. It was a 39.1, but I believe he invalidated the lap time, so he'll have to go again. Next one to the line, I believe, will be Carlsbury.
Yeah,
he's got front wing damage, though.
He's got front wing damage, left side end plate, and he's invalidated his lap as well. Not sure where he might have gone off. I can only think through the S section, because I did see a car going slow through there about 30, 45 seconds ago, so it wouldn't be him.
Well, here comes Toxic. Toxic coming around the final quarter, onwards towards the start finish line. P2 for him, 131.7, as the Williams of Mashiro, 32.6 from the Japanese driver, puts him now up to third place. Spike again coming across the line to start another flying lap. 133.8 from him so far. Of course, that was his first lap of the session. Warren across the line, third place, 32.1 from the Red Bull driver. Navy goes second, 131.7 from the McLaren driver. And looking at it, hopefully we're going to see a Ferrari on a lap. We're not going to see Cass on a lap. We're not going to see Recon on a lap either. They both abandoned them there. Hopefully we'll see Traw making his way towards the final corner. Yes, we do. We'll see what lap time he can set then in the Renault, making his way towards the start-finish line. 34.7, you're right, James. It was invalidated, so he'll have to go again.
Yeah, plenty of invalidations getting picked up, which I'm not really surprised in, to be honest. Half the field have currently set lap times, and Schiaparelli with a 31 flat. Key was coming around the final corner until he got an invalidation round out the final corner through turn 19 and into the pit lane he comes. So another one that is invalidated on his lap. And very interestingly, Cooper making his debut here in TTL F1. First race in quite a while. He's on a set of mediums and he's just starting up on the lap now.
Yeah, absolutely. Medium tyres is a bit against the grain. Obviously, you're either on the softs or the hards at the moment, but Cooper's cutting it down the middle and putting on those medium tyres and seeing how they do. Medium tyres would be a good tyre around here. The only problem is, when it comes to strategy, the medium tyres kind of leave you stranded. It's not quite far enough to take your soft tyres to the end, but obviously you've got so much time on the hard tyres that it's almost not worth putting on the medium tyres. It's really a middle ground that really is more of a compromise than a benefit.
Yeah, most drivers on the mediums, certainly within the race, at the start of the race, I don't think many people will be using the mediums, but if they do, then most of them will lean towards a hard compound of tyres just for that safety net, just to assure them that they get home within the 28 laps. If drivers do decide to go on a set of soft compound of tyres, then they go towards puncture territory, and around here you don't want that.
Here comes Draw then, coming around the final corner and onwards. Oh, he's lost it. Oh, that was a bizarre one there, but he's had to back out of it, that's for sure. And sets a 37.9. I wonder if that was so that he didn't set that fast lap time on the soft tyres. I wonder if he'll go back out later on a harder set of tyres to set another lap time. I wonder.
Yeah, I think he will. 37.9, he can find a lot of improvement in that. And if he made a mistake as well, it will just assure him up towards the final couple of corners. I'm just on board with Cooper. He's just coming around the final couple of corners. Looks like he's going to go right in between Mashiro and Spike, and he does. But there's oh, I thought there was a bit of a glitch on my end, but then I saw Spike was a 33.8 and a 32.8 for Cooper. And he was going quite slow, and there's actually a little bit of a concertina going on in behind, which you never like to see in qualifying. Plenty of drivers coming out of the pits. I think that was Schiaparelli, Toxic and Recon coming out of the pits.
Yeah, you imagine you get 5 kilometres worth of track and you all come out at the same time. What are the odds? What are the odds? But yeah, you can see Schiaparelli, I believe that's Toxic in that queue as well. And there is a Ferrari of, I believe, Recon. So, well, 3 quick drivers there, all in tandem. I wonder if Recon here is looking to try and get a little bit of a tow, especially down those long straights, as we see there. I believe that is a Williams of Flying Cooper there at the head of this one, but I think he's going to jump out of the way, as he might know that the other guys are on outlaps, so he might just be looking to go back to the pit lane, put on another set of tyres. Maybe he'll go again for another lap, who knows, on those medium tyres. But he is currently 6th place in qualifying. 8 minutes and 42 seconds to go. Schiaparelli is on top with Navy in 2nd. Toxic 3rd with Warren 4th. Mashiro in 5th with Cooper 6th. Spike in 7th with Sean 8th. Draw 9th. And Recon, Key, Carlsbury, Cass and Lighty all yet to set a lap time in this qualifying session.
Yeah, looking at Flying Cooper, he will be coming back into the pitch. Yellow flags in Sector 2 is a Williams going slow. I think that might be Mashiro on an outlap. Carlsbury, though, in the meantime, is coming around 13, 14 and 15 now. He's just coming very wide in towards turn 15. The yellow flag's obviously out in Sector 2, and that is for a Red Bull going slow. Carlsbury coming through the triple right-hander through Verstappen at turn 18. He's looking quite good here, I've got to be honest. On the soft compound tyres, he's going to be well up here with the timings. I think he'll go 2nd with this, maybe. Carlsbury coming around the final corner, and in fact, ignore what I've just said, because he's now going to drop it to the line. And again, another one not going for a quick, soft lap time.
No, either they're waiting for the track to evolve into a better state, or they're not planning to start the race on the soft tyres. That could be my only call on it. It's great setting a banker lap time like that, but if it goes wrong and you don't get a chance to get another run in, well, you have to start on those tyres, so you still have to be careful of them as you make your way through. But he's on mode 5 again, so he's still pushing out there. I wonder what's going on for Carlsbury there.
Carlsbury will probably coming back into the pits. He'll use up his fuel unless he goes final corner. VOT Warren getting in the way there of Schiaparelli's lap, and he's gone off towards the middle sector there. So Warren, I'm not sure what happened there, but he did definitely get in the way of Schiaparelli's lap. And by the way, Schiaparelli has set the fastest middle sector, but is down on his time, and he's coming around the final couple of corners now. Can he improve into the 30s? I don't know.
Well, he's only a couple of hundredths away, so it's very much plausible here as he makes his way through the penultimate corner, onwards now towards the final corner. Nice and tidy through there. Watch the wheel spin on the exit, straight as you can towards the line, and it's a 31.027. 0.016 slower than his personal best so far. Talk about fine margins.
Yeah, Toxic just goes 2nd behind him as well, and in fact, Recon betters. Just as I say that, Recon is bettered for 31.1. So, really, the main contenders here in qualifying are beginning to let themselves know. And I said to you before qualifying, I think Schiaparelli would have a good race. Well, he's right up there at the top spot. Maybe my predictions are coming right.
But this is qualifying, James, not the race.
Exactly.
You did say the race. You have cursed people before. Navy going 4/10 faster than his previous best to get him up to 3rd place, only just so ahead of Toxic, only around about 600ths ahead of Toxic there. Just trying to spot other drivers on a lap time. We've got Mashiro, who's gone up to 5th place there, 31.9 from the Japanese driver. As we've got a Toro Rosso, I believe that is of Key, 33.5 from him so far, as he gets out of the way of the Williams to then, well, he's in 6th gear, so he's obviously trying to come back to the pit lane. Maybe he hasn't got a lot of fuel left on board and wants to try and save it for as much as he can. Now, there is a Ferrari making their way in towards the last couple of corners, and it is Cass who hasn't set a lap time just yet in this session. Neither has Lighty, but Cass is on a set of the soft tyres, making his way through the final corner, and again, backing out of it. So he's setting a banker lap time. This definitely will not be pole position, and it's not. 35.9 from Cass there. So my thinking is then, James, that they're not going to start the race on the soft tyres. I'm talking about, you know, Carlsbury, Cass, Traw as well is definitely not going to start on the soft tyre. And I wonder about Lighty, because he hasn't set a lap time at all in this session so far.
Yeah, Lighty hasn't set a lap time, which is quite strange because you normally see him out there quite early on in the session. But yeah, I agree with that because the soft compounder tyres are probably going to wear within the first what, 5-6 laps of the race. They definitely don't want to be on those tyres because they'll go 21 laps roughly on a set of hard compound of tyres. Definitely not the best strategy to do. If they come back out on a set of medium compound of tyres, then go to hards, that's more viable. But anyone down in the bottom half of the field, so that'll be 11th down to 14th, obviously start on those fresh set of tyres. Be interesting to see how everyone does. And by the way, Sean is back out on a set of medium compound tyres as well, and he's on the bubble in 11th.
Yeah, only a handful of cars out on track right now. We've just seen a Renault emerging from the pit lane, and I believe that is of Traw then, on a set of the medium tyres. So, well, you know what? I'm getting tired of making predictions, James, because it looks like some of these people are starting on medium tyres. It's quite frustrating.
Yeah, most of the guys I think will end up going for a set of medium compound of tyres. Obviously, top 6, if they decide to come back into the pits, obviously they might go on a set of mediums. In fact, if they come out the pits, I should say, they'll go back onto a set of medium compound of tyres. Colsby, by the way, has came out on a set of mediums as well, as has Sean, and as has Troll, and as has Lighty, who was finally out on track.
Sean there, currently 11th place, 135.0 on a set of the hard tyres there. You can just see how tidy you have to be through that S section. These cars nowadays are so stable, but even they can struggle in the high aero demands of that first S section over the crest into turn 10, onwards now towards turn 11. Let's have a look at Sean's teammate Carlsbury, because he's on an outlap right now, making his way in towards the final couple of corners. We have got Lighty, who's also on an outlap, not far behind, just going through the speed trap now as he makes his way through there. You can see the yellow flag's just out because Carlsbury's trying to back it up and save as much ERS as possible. Now he's going to go for it then as he makes his way now up the hill. And look at that, a Williams has just joined right at the top of the hill. Hopefully he'll see that Alfa Romeo coming then in towards turn 1, and he does. Gets well out of the way, does Mashiro. In towards turn 2 goes Carlsbury, and then towards the S section of 3, 4, 5, and you know the rest, all the way through turn 9 as we make our way through. Got to keep that car nice and controlled through there. So easy to overcommit to one of these corners, and it can all go wrong. Track invalidation, off the track, whatever. It can easily go wrong. Carlsbury then over turn 10 and has actually turned the ERS down, still going out there. I wonder if he made a slight mistake. He might go again. Yes, he's going to go again.
Yeah, Colsbury, I think, made a slight mistake coming out on the exit of turn 9 through turn 10, which is probably why he's down the ERS and he'll go for another lap. Sean, by the way, his teammate, has gone 2 tenths behind him on a set of medium compound of tyres. Not too bad of a lap, to be honest, from Sean. 33.9, and he's still on the cusp there for 11th place. I think if he retires, I honestly think he'll probably go medium compound of tyres and then go on a one stop with a set of hards. But most of the guys are on outlaps, and there's not many towards the final sector. Lighty's on a lap though, but even he has dropped off this pace because he's on ERS mode 0.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's going to try and go again. So getting into crunch time now, and one of the first cars is going to be a Williams heading towards the line. It's going to be Mashiro, who's going to be the first pretty much to see that checkered flag as he makes his way around the final corner. There's a Toro Rosso out there who's going to be the last to see the checkered flag. So Mashiro across the line then to start one more flying lap then as he makes his way up towards turn 1, braking hard then up the hill in towards turn 1, finding that apex and getting the acceleration down. So sweet when you get that corner, absolutely spot on there as he now makes his way through the S section. So many cars to watch, James, so little time and so little camera angles. I've only got 2 hands, I can't keep up with this.
Yeah, Mashiro looking good through the first sector. Personal best through the first sector. A 10th, and he's just invalidated actually. So Mashiro just getting caught on the right-hander. I think that was at turn 8, and he's invalidated. He's just ran over the curb. He knows it, because I think he'll probably retire from the session now. We have got other drivers out on track, by the way, as well. There's not many improvements being shown at this stage.
Warren, at the moment, is going to be the next to set a competitive lap time. You've got Cooper and Key retiring from the session altogether, mainly because they've invalidated their lap times. Warren, a little bit of a lock-up on the front left there as he braked towards turn 12, and a little bit of a lock-up again from Warren in towards 13. Checkered flag is out then. Spike didn't quite make it to the line, so he will not get another chance of a flying lap. Oh, he did improve. Yes, you're right. 33.0. So that's his lap time done and dusted. We've got Warren then making his way in towards the penultimate corner. Now onwards towards that final corner, in towards turn 20 with the sun in your eye. How is he going to get on here as he heads towards the start-finish line? It's 5th fastest for Warren here. We've got the next one will be a Haas of Lighty. If I can scroll down quick enough, we can find him as he makes his way towards the start-finish line. P11 for the German there. Carlsbury's next to the line, heading towards that start-finish line. No improvement then from Carlsbury. We've got Toxic who's heading towards the line. P2 for Toxic, only missing out by 300ths of a second. Great lap time from him. Unfortunately, though, it's not enough. Recon runs wide at turn 19, can so easily invalidate your lap here. Let's see, will the lap stand as he makes his way towards the start-finish line? It will! And 130.7 there from Recon. The lap stands, and it counts. Navy then goes even quicker. 130.771, 300ths of a second. He has stolen it away from Recon, and it is Navy who will be on pole position for the United States Grand Prix.
Navy playing the late card like Recon always does in qualifying. I thought he had done it, to be honest. But 3,000ths of a second between Navy and Recon. You can't get closer than that in qualifying. And what a race is going to be. And that might just necessarily bring Navy back into the championship fight if he outscores Recon.
Yeah, it's going to be crucial there. Recon second place. I mean, he'll take it for sure, but I'm sure he would have wanted that pole position even more. But it is Navy who is on pole position here at the United States Grand Prix with 2 rounds to go. That is going to be crucial. There he is, though. Your pole sitter for the United States Grand Prix is Navy. And shortly we'll take you through the qualifying results, then heading into the race. And we'll get them any moment now. In fact, we'll get them now. Navy then sealing pole position by 3,000ths of a second ahead of Recon. Shapalele in 3rd with Toxic 4th. Warren in 5th and Mashiro in 6th. Cooper in 7th on the mediums. Spike in 8th on mediums. Key in 9th on mediums. And Carlsbury rounds out the top 10 on the soft tyres. Lighty in 11th. Sean 12th. Cass 13th. Draw 14th. And that will round up your qualifying results so far. So, interesting race on the horizon. And if the leaders are split like that every single lap, James, it's going to be one heck of a race.
Navy and Recon are going to be absolutely flying, I think. Don't rule out Chapelletti, don't rule out Toxic, and certainly don't rule out Warren by any stretch of the imagination. But the disappointing thing is that Carlsbury, second in the championship, is starting 10th. Not only is he starting 10th, he's starting 10th on a set of soft compound of tyres. Even though he might make up the ground early on, I think Carlsbury's best chance tonight is to finish top 5. I think that's what he'll be aiming here. If he wins, then it blows everything out of proportion. But I think top 5 is probably what he's going to be aiming for.
Absolutely, and we'll have to wait and see how it all develops, how it all unfolds. Clouds in the sky here. It's looking pretty, well, I wouldn't say grim, but I would definitely say miserable. Yeah, it looks a bit miserable out there. So let's see. Well, let's see how it all goes on. In fact, it's so cloudy, I don't know. Oh, there we go, 10 seconds. There we go. The timer blends into the background if it's cloudy, so not great at all. But I will say one thing. It's going to be a good one. Kota always delivers. It always delivers. And tonight, I can guarantee it will be no different as we head on towards the formation lap here at the United States Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas. Let's see. We know already what the top 10 are going to be starting on. It's more who are outside of the top 10. What are they starting on? Well, Lighty starting on a set of the soft tyres with Sean on the mediums, Cass on the mediums, as well as Traw there on the medium tyres. And my theory about, no one's going to start on the medium tyres, well, it's been undone almost immediately with half the field, just under half the field starting on mediums. Oh, well, you can't win them all.
You can't win them all. And I think that what's actually more difficult to prosper, actually, is a set of medium compound of tyres. 7th, 8th and 9th are starting on a much worn set of the medium compound of tyres. Bear that in mind because they've had to set their laps on a set of medium compound of tyres. Even though they will be more, I think, durable during this race, especially with the cloud cover, watch out for them wearing. These guys will be pitting in maybe 2, maybe 3 laps earlier than the likes of Sean, the likes of Cass and the likes of Troll, who are down on a fresher set of the medium compound of tyres. And around here, I think in tyre wear difference, if the likes of Cooper, Spike and Key are already carrying condition on those tyres, and it's like 6-7%, they will pit in 2 or 3 laps earlier than Sean, Cass or Troll, will be 6-7% lighter on the tyre conditions, but it makes for an interesting race.
It will do indeed, and as I always say, Kota always delivers. As Navy there makes his way around Verstappen corner here. There's a very interesting reason why we call it Verstappen corner, and all you have to do is watch normal Formula 1 to find out why. There's turn 19, and well, it's been a bit lackadaisical with the track limits there. Formula 1 are very stringent on it, IndyCar are not, especially on the outside of turn 19, but we saw there Recon's lap time shows that the stewards are willing to be at least a little bit lenient around the penultimate corner, especially on the exit. Something for the drivers maybe to take on board as we head onto the grid. Then Navy taking that pole position slot there. Recon lining up on the left hand side. He'll have the inside for the next corner, but Navy in theory should have the racing line and therefore the better traction and the better getaway on the lights here. But well, they're all on the grid now, so that can only mean one thing. We are moments away from the United States Grand Prix here in TTL F1 for round number 10, the penultimate round of the championship. And here we go then with those red lights. They count up to 5 red lights. We are underway. We're underway with massive jump starts there. So many of them got jump starts there as we make our way up towards turn 1 here. There you can see Navy and Recon battling away. I don't know how many of them got a jump start here, but we'll soon find out after these 3 laps are done. In the meantime, Navy leads then with Recon in second. Toxic and Chapalele going side by side through the S section. There you can see just about holding on was the Red Bull there. They are battling so hard here. You can see from Warren's point of view, that was very, very close there. But Toxic manages to hold on to P3 right now, as we see here Flying Cooper right behind his teammate. Oh, Bashiro loses the back end just going through turn 9. He manages to gather the car up through turn 10. He's only lost a couple of positions. That could have ended a lot worse for the Japanese driver. Still on the inside of Carlsbury then, but he doesn't get the traction there, and Carlsbury will simply stream away into the distance. The only thing about jump starts is if the driver does it ahead of you, it sort of makes you trigger and sort of makes you go as well, so you fall into the trap. Toxic up the inside, as you can see there, Recon having to go off the track to avoid Toxic's lock up there. Recon up the inside, still there, battling away. Chapalele's right behind them too, as we make our way through turn 15. Recon on the outside, no way through for him this time, and Chapalele was always ready to latch onto that one through 16, 17 and 18. Over the next 3 laps, we'll see how many drivers actually did jump the start, as we make our way through the penultimate quarter onwards now towards the final quarter. Recon just about keeping it in check. There's Chapalele, who's coming in to serve his drive-through penalty, and that's going to hurt quite a few of the drivers at the top end of the field. Navy still leads though from Toxic in second, Recon third with Warren in fourth, Carlsbury in fifth with Spike sixth, Cass in seventh. Here goes Lighty up the inside, diving it up the inside in towards turn 1 and running wide on the exit as well. Running on board with Spike. Look at Cass around the outside. He'll have the inside now for turn 3. Will Spike give up on it? No, you bet he won't, but he has to that time around, and Cass just about gets that position done there. Lighty fully sent it up the inside in towards turn 1, and it didn't quite work out for the German. In fact, it didn't work out for Spike either, because he lost a position there to Cass, so Spike won't be too happy about that. But Lighty is feisty today. He's up for this one.
Yeah, Lighty definitely up for this one. And just to confirm about the jump start, I'm under the impression that there was a lights glitch at the start of the race. The top 7 all have got drive-through penalties. Recon and Warren, they make contact a little bit down the straight. Recon and Warren down towards turn 12. Oh my god, this is getting very intense between these two. Recon just gives them a slight tap. Luckily it's only a little tap, and Recon actually ran the outside, gets the move done. But I'm under the impression that was a lights glitch that caused the drive-through penalties, and if that's the case, we could be seeing Carlsbury win this one.
Well, we could be indeed. And meanwhile, then you can see so many of these drivers battling away. I think towards the front there, battling away for third place. I think Warren let Recon back through after that one. And you can see there, Recon and Warren now coming in to serve their drive-through penalties. Lighty then still right on the back of Spike. So I'm assuming then that Navy and Toxic still have drive-through penalties to serve. One of them who did serve it, Chapalele, now in 12th place. So well, let's see if he gains a couple of positions. In theory, you shouldn't really gain anything out of a drive-through penalty. But you can see there, Chapalele opting to go early and has got the jump on Recon and Warren there as he moves now into 10th place. Meanwhile, Lighty still on the back of Spike. He's not going to let go of this position, that's for sure. battling away for 5th place.
Yeah, German right on the back of the Brit. Troll as well, looking quite feisty in behind. He's on a set of medium comparative tyres, and oh my god, he was quick through there. Jesus, did he at the back of him? But Troll and Lighty, of course, two former teammates, now rivals out on track here tonight, are going to prove quite feisty. And I've just checked the race director. I can confirm Navy and Toxic still have to use up their drive-through penalties. So that means Carlbury is currently in the net lead of the rest.
Yeah, Navy and Toxic will have to serve it this lap. They don't have any other choice. They have to serve it this lap, otherwise they will get disqualified. Here goes Key then around the outside of Sean in towards turn 12. He'll try a little bit of a switch back here to try and get the better traction. Didn't quite work out the way he wanted it to, and the Alfa Romeo stays ahead.
Carlsbury
Meanwhile then, Carlsbury, yeah, he did lose it for a second there, and that has allowed Cass to go through and take that position outright. Navy then leading the way, but he won't be for long, as he'll come into the pit lane to serve his drive-through penalty. There he goes then, into the pit lane he goes, and Toxic follows him through. There will be the drive-through penalty for both of them. So now Cass will come across to take the lead here at COTA and at the United States Grand Prix. Carlsbury will be up to 2nd place, Spike in 3rd, Lighty 4, with Traw in 5th place. Navy dropping down the order. There goes Sean, there goes Key. Let's see where he rejoins. Well, there's Shapalele. There you can see it is going to be close between himself and Toxic in towards turn 1. There you can see Toxic will have a bit of a compromised line, but Shapalele just couldn't quite take advantage of that, and Toxic stays ahead. Navy rejoins in 8th place.
Yeah, Navy was net leader of the race as well. He was former leader of the race, I should say, as well. So actually, he's came out in 8th place ahead of Shapalele, as is Toxic, who was running in 2nd at the time. So basically, the top 4, and in fact, the 7 that have pitted, haven't actually lost that much ground at all. And over the whole field, still 15 seconds separating the whole field currently out on track. But it hasn't cost them much. It's about 15 seconds for a drive-through around here, so it hasn't cost them.
Yeah, far from over, that is for sure. Cass still leading, though, from Carlsbury. Then it's Spike under pressure from Lighty behind. It's Draw in 5th.
Toxic late. Oh, my God.
Well, I mean, he's still going around the outside there. I thought you were going to take over, Jones, but I'll take over from you. Toxic trying to go up the inside. He gets a 5-second penalty there. That's a slap on the wrist. And Navy loses the back end there. So that is a 5-second penalty handed to Toxic there. Just took too much liberty with the track limits there. And he will pick up a 5-second penalty. That's not a stop-go penalty. That is a 5-second slap on the wrist that will be added to the end of his race, I believe. Either that or he might serve it. I'm not entirely sure on that one, but that looked to me like a straight slap on the wrist there.
Yeah, it was a corner cutting penalty. Toxic shouldn't have really gone for that move on Navy, to be honest. I think Navy was always going to have the corner. But he is ahead. Illegally, I may add, because he put all 4 wheels over the curb, and that's why he picked up that 5-second time penalty. I can understand drivers being angry about the drive-through penalty situation and about this light glitch that I'm under the impression of, but they've just got to focus on their own races. They've got to put it to the back of their minds and focus on their own race, because they can still make something out of it.
Absolutely, Traw here right on the back of Lighty, and of course these two are great friends off and on the track. But you can see there Lighty trying to defend Shapalele, right, trying to go around the outside of Navy. He manages to hold on, does the McLaren, but now look at this Shapalele with the DRS right on the back here. You can see up ahead another move being made. Toxic trying to get past Key then, up for position. So Toxic gets the position. Shapalele will try up the inside of the McLaren, then in towards turn 12. He'll get the position, and he gets it done there in towards turn 13. Meanwhile, Lighty still stays ahead of Traw, but look at that. Lighty has front wing damage on the right-hand side, so that is going to compromise him heavily here, especially through this triple right-hander here. You can see the speed difference now between Lighty and Traw. Traw is just closing up on him now as we head through 19. He's going to struggle here. Will Traw realise he's got front wing damage? Doesn't have to, because Lighty comes into the pit, as does Carlsbury from 2nd place in that race. That's going to put Cass up into the lead of the race. Then Spike up to 2nd, with Traw in 3rd place, Sean in 4th. And it's all a bit topsy-turvy right now, because Toxic now is in 5th place. There is Key in 6th, Shapalele in 7th, with Navy looking for a move up the inside. Door was always closing, has to back out of that one, and can't find that way through just yet.
Yeah, Navy right on the back of Schiaparelli then. I've got to be honest, he tried to get the move done down in towards turn 1, and the straight line speed difference between Navy and Schiaparelli, both of them running DRS, Navy was a lot quicker down the straight compared to Schiaparelli. So I think he's got more of a straight line speed setup on rather than a cornering setup. But Schiaparelli is now improving because he's now beginning to pull that gap out slightly. Cooper was on the back of Recon as well, and Recon, championship leader, I think has been the chief loser out of these, because he's now coming back to Cooper, Warren and Mashiro. This has opened up the championship battle for sure.
Absolutely. Navy still trying to close in on Schiaparelli as we make our way now down towards turn 12. No way through for the McLaren just yet. You can see behind, Cooper is actually looking up the inside of Recon there. No way through though for the Williams there on the inside of Recon there, but trying again through turn 13. Again, the door isn't open for him. You see that Recon's trying to tempt Cooper into one of those moves and then slams the door shut at the last moment. But Cooper can't find that way through just yet. Toxic, meanwhile, right on the back of Short. But Toxic, remember, is on those soft tyres, but he'll carry on for another lap here as we head through the final corner. Onwards now towards the start-finish straight. There is Schiaparelli coming into the pits then. From what was 7th place. He'll now drop down the order as he takes on a brand new set of tyres. Of course, now that will count as his second stop of the race because, of course, he's crossed the pit lane transponder twice. That's all that means. But, yeah, it will come up as 2 stop now. Cass then inherits a 3-second time penalty. I think that's our first track limits penalty of the night, and I can guarantee you it will not be the last as we're riding aboard with Toxic.
Yeah, Cooper's just got the move done on Recon down towards turn 1. So Cooper getting past Recon down towards turn 1, and Toxic, as you say, is right on the back of Sean. And it does count as 1 pit stop, by the way, on my end, because they have because the pit transponder, as you say, they've gone in for a drive-through, but they didn't come in to get a fresh set of tyres or to get anything sorted with their car.
Recon launching it down the inside into turn 11 there. Add 10 onto that one, Kieran, and you'll get the right corner number. But you can see there, Cooper gave him the room, but in doing that, Recon got the DRS and is able to try and pull away. What will Cooper do, I wonder? Meanwhile, battle happening towards the front here. Toxic getting the move done on Sean as he makes his way now in towards that stadium section. And Cooper, meanwhile, still right on the back of Recon there. Couldn't quite find that way through, but there's lots of battles happening all over the field, James, and it's very difficult to keep up with all of them.
It is very difficult to keep up with them. Toxic is making sure he's getting the overtakes done, but he doesn't necessarily have to get the overtakes done. Now he's into the pit. You've got to be watching for Schiaparelli, who has pitted in around about him, so watch out for him, because I think Schiaparelli might be undercutting Toxic at this stage. He's just coming through turn 19 on the right-hand side on the mini-map, and a 5-second time penalty, I think, getting served here for Toxic. Yes. So that 5-second time penalty has now gone, and Schiaparelli will come out ahead of him quite easily.
Yeah, there you can see then Schiaparelli making his way through, onwards now and past Toxic as he makes his way through. Carlsbury then still out there on the medium tyres. Of course, he's on a fresh set of medium tyres. I find it hard to believe you can make it to the end of the race on those set of medium tyres. But you know what, James? I've been wrong before, and as so often is the case, I'm normally proven wrong again.
You know what, I have seen medium compound tyres go about 20-21 laps before, but the drivers have got to be so careful on the tyre degradation, especially with it being a lot cloudier. The mediums obviously will be the tyre to go on at this point in the race, but whether that is towards the end of the race, they'll be losing time. Cooper now pulling in on Recon again, the yo-yo effect as I like to call it, and Cooper has now gone past Recon. He was going to try his hardest to get around the outside, but Cooper is through on Recon, both yet to come into the pits, and that is for 7th position.
Yeah, absolutely, as Recon there still trying to get that move done on Flying Cooper there, but no way through just yet. Still looking for an open door, didn't quite happen that time around. As we now make our way through the long right-handers here. The clouds still look pretty dull at the moment and don't look like they're shifting anytime soon. So that could play havoc with the track temperature, as these tyres might not get up to temperature, and also it can involve the risk of graining on these tyres. So we'll have to wait and see how that affects the drivers and their tyre wear going into this race. As Lighty picks up a 3-second time penalty. Also, Spike has picked himself up a 3-second time penalty about a lap ago.
Yeah, Schiaparelli coming across the line to set fastest lap of the race as well at 35.6. Toxic then on the back of the Lighty. Toxic has been into the pits. He got undercut, of course, by Schiaparelli due to that 5-second time penalty being served within the pit lane. Lighty very, very awkward out of turn 1. Toxic surely not going to try around the outside through turn 2. But I think Lighty might just give him this one, and it has. It's like a Christmas gift came early for Toxic, and he's through around the outside, and Lighty didn't put up a fight there.
Yeah, you could see there with Lighty getting wayward out of turn 1, you could always see that was Toxic's move to lose, and he definitely put it to good use there. Up the position he goes, and up to 12th place he will go. Carlsbury, meanwhile, on the back of Recon then with some DRS. Already. And look at this, he'll fly past here, down towards turn 12. He'll even have time to turn down the ERS before the braking zone into turn 12. But he outbrakes himself there into 12, and Recon there was a little bit sideways. Actually had a bit of opposite luck as he was going through the corner there and couldn't quite gather it up to take advantage. Unfortunately for Recon, though, he has lost out on that one.
Yeah, Recon and Navy quite interesting actually, because they're still out on a set of soft compound tyres. That is Mashiro. We can tell the difference. Schiaparelli's just got the move done on Mashiro down the inside through turn 15, that was. Carlsbury right on the back of Cooper. These two have been into the pits and were part of that top 7 group that did come into the pits to serve their drive-throughs. There's a yellow flag in sector 3, which is now gone. It's Warren at the back. Yeah, Warren has had a moment out at turn 15, I think that was. Yeah, Carlsbury down the inside of flying Cooper. Got the move done. Oh, Cooper's back on the switchback. What a move this is for Cooper if he can pull it off, and he has. Or has he? Because Carlsbury's on the inside of him. Now, side by side through the S section and Carlsbury. Oh my God, what a move that is. Carlsbury around the outside of Cooper. They're still going at it. Is there any contact through there? I don't think there was. And Carlsbury has got the move done on Cooper. Brilliant wheel-to-wheel action. And what a drive there by the Finn. I know he's on the fresher tyres, but still, you've got to give him credit.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great battle there. All through the S section, I tell you that this track is designed for battling. That's what it's here for. With Recon now trying to close in on Flying Cooper. One theory that comes to mind is why Navy and Recon are on the soft tyres for so long. Are they expecting rain? I wonder.
I think they're trying to go fresher into the race for a set of medium compound of tyres. 18 laps compared to 21 laps is much better because it's going to be that 6/7 rate that I was talking about early on. And Navy going around, he is going to be losing time. Maybe they're thinking their race is over before it really begun because of the drive-through penalties from the start of the race. But if it is due to rain, it's certainly looking a little bit likelier, as there is actually rain bands in the back of shop by the looks as well.
Maybe they're coming into the pits then. In towards the pit lane he will go, so this will be a medium set of tyres strapped onto the car this time, and as you say, Recon is into the pits as well from that point scoring position. On will go a set of medium tyres for the McLaren, and away he will go, rejoining here. Now where will he rejoin? Toxic rejoins ahead of him, but the difference between the two tyres, 3 laps, that could be very important heading in towards the last 3 laps of this race.
Yeah, Lighty as well ahead has already been into the pits and is on 5 laps, all the tyres compared to Navy and Recon. If Navy and Recon have got the pace, which inevitably they will over Lighty, get past him, try and focus on Toxic ahead. Last 3 laps will be key. Warren has had a spin at turn 1. He's managed just about to get the car going. I can see it on the mini-map there. But yeah, he's managed to get that car going, and Warren not having a great race at all. And another one, I think that the race was over before it really begun.
Yeah, I think his wrist injury will have something to do with that as well, as Warren actually does retire from the session. Remember, he's trying to race on a broken wrist, I believe he told us last week, which, you know, I mean... Is it brave or is it stupid? I'll let you decide. But he was racing with it. He had to retire last time because he was too discomfortable with the, or too uncomfortable, I should say, with the broken wrist. He couldn't race on it any longer, so he pulled to one side and retired the car. I wouldn't be surprised if that scenario has happened again, because with a couple of spins, you know, your reaction instantly is to, oh, we've got
Lighty.
Pass there. It is Lighty. Going around at turn 15, I believe that was all on his own. I don't think there was anyone around him. And there will go Recon, who will try and go around the outside, which he does, closer than he might have liked. But Recon does have the position there as you head in towards 90. And Recon will say, well, thank you very much. I'll have a free position.
Yeah, Yeah, lighty on a set of medium compound of size. I think the German, to be honest, spun it at turn 15 on the inside of the curb, and I think we've seen that multiple times tonight, to be honest. Recon is just defending the position down into turn 1. It stays as it is. But the more interesting battles are now starting to happen towards the front of the affairs. Because Troll's catching Spike and Key beginning to lean in, beginning to catch Sean as well in this race. And Schiaparelli right on the back of Cooper as well. So it's all beginning to kick off slowly.
Absolutely, and when you put the top 7 and they got drive-throughs, it really does open up this race. Those guys that might not normally have thought, you know, a podium is the target for today are now starting to believe. You never know what could happen in this race. The clouds still look gloomy. We haven't seen the sun since qualifying, so that's quite sad actually. But Traw is still trying to close in on Spike. 0.7 of a second is the gap right now as we head through turn 19 and onwards then towards turn 20. Meanwhile, Schiaparelli right on the back of Cooper then as we head through the triple right hander. Over Verstappen we go, then through turn 18 and onwards now towards turn 19. You can see Cooper there actually running wide on the exit of 18 there, and you can see that there are two different lines going on there as we head in towards turn 20. You would think here that Schiaparelli has got the better traction because Cooper hasn't actually stopped yet since the race has started. Schiaparelli going up the inside in towards turn 1. And does he have the move done? Yes, he does. Well, actually, no, he doesn't, because the switchback could be key here going in towards turn 2. But in the end, Schiaparelli does have the move done and the Renault moves ahead.
Yeah, Cooper trying to have a go back up the inside through turn 3 there, and he picked up a 3-second time penalty for his pain there as well. But Schiaparelli getting the move done very easily indeed, and now he can set his sights on Carlsbury. 3 seconds ahead, a lap of pressure tyres for Schiaparelli. They're going to be about, what, 4% better off towards the end of the race? Might be Schiaparelli's maybe to lose, but he's got that 3 seconds to make up just yet, and depending on the pace that both of these guys show, I think it might be a straight fight between Carlsbury and Schiaparelli. Currently, if the guys were to pit in, I think Recon would be pitting, would be going up to around net 5th, net 6th position when the guys pit in. So in terms of the championship, wide open.
Absolutely, and we love a championship that is absolutely wide open. Carlsbury here still in 6th place, trying to close in on Key ahead of him. Schiaparelli, meanwhile, has got Cooper behind him. He's got the move done, has the Renault. He's got Carlsbury next in his line of sight. 2.8 seconds up the road as Carlsbury actually picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Multiple corner cutting warnings, I should say, as we're just under half race distance. And that is Williams around. That's flying Cooper around at turn 19. Now, did he drop it on the curb there? I wonder.
He has.
Yeah, he has. So that is not a great day for the Williams there. And of course, what happens now is you've got to try and cool those tyres down before you can push them again. Otherwise, you're just like skating on an ice rink.
Yeah, unfortunate for Cooper, I think that outside curve through turn 19 is very, very potent, even at the best of times. But on 13-lap mediums, they are going to be like a sheet of ice. It is like skating on an ice rink and pretty much falling over before it's even begun. Trust me, I've been there before and it's happened.
Yeah, I don't like the ice. I specifically go out to avoid it. And Cooper is out now of the United States Grand Prix, and that's a big moment there. No, I don't. That looks too shallow for me to say that's a collision with the wall outright. I'm not sure what's happened there.
Unless he's just retired it on the car from his own effect. I don't know.
Maybe.
I think it'd be better if him coming in the comments section, I think, and explain that one.
Well, maybe, I don't know. I think it might go back to his hotel room nearby. But there you go. Key, meanwhile, right on the back of Sean as we head in towards 15. And still, Alfa Romeo versus Toro Rosso here as Sean runs a little bit wide on entry into 17. There you can see that left Key having to lift off. And Sean now has the momentum going into 19. Whoa, that was close there from Key. Just about slowed that one down in time as we head in towards the final corner. We are now at half race distance. 14 laps down, 14 to go. And it is Cass still leading from Spike, Traw, Sean and Key. But they are all still yet to pit in this United States Grand Prix. Key looking for a move past Sean. But Sean made one defensive move, then back to the racing line. That is completely within the rule book there. You are allowed to do that.
Yeah, Sean was always going to have that position down towards turn 1. Recon has picked up a 3-second time penalty, which is interesting to note. But look who's catching the back of this battle for 4. Carlsbury now getting involved in this. And this could be quite something if the Finn can get past these two and gap to Schiaparelli. But I've got to be honest, I think Schiaparelli's catching him. That gap 1.8 seconds. It was 3.1 2 or 3 laps ago. Schiaparelli is quicker than Carlsbury out on track. And are we going to get 3 wide down the straight?
Well, we could do indeed, because Sean here will have no DRS. Key and Carlsbury will. Carlsbury will get a little bit of a double toe down the back straight here towards turn 12. Where will Key go? Where will Carlsbury go? Key goes to the inside there. Carlsbury goes to the outside to try and make a move on the Toro Rosso ahead of him. He'll have the better traction going through the corner. And Carlsbury, great move there. Great driving from the Finn as he now moves up to 5th place. That was really smart driving.
He could have easily went up the inside into turn 12 and pretty much had the move done anyways, because I think Key was always going to lose that one. But Carlsbury ran the outside, easy as you like, and the Toro Rosso now no longer in a Sauber, in an Alfa Romeo sandwich, I should say, because Sean is now ahead of Carlsbury, and I think Sean's going to come into the pits. He is. So that frees Carlsbury into free air, and Schiaparelli's got a car now basically in front of him. He's got traffic, I would say, in front of him.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see how this one goes down. But lap 16 here in the United States. Cass leading from Spike and Troll. That is your top 3 so far. But the top 3 are yet to stop in this race. Carlsbury, interestingly, on 10-lap-old medium tyres, has stopped in this race. In fact, he got a drive-through penalty early on in the race. He's 10 seconds back from Troll. That makes him around about 15 seconds behind Cass. And let's have a look. The best way to tell is on the halos here, because the droplets will run down. I don't think it's raining just yet. Oh, Carlsbury has a moment over the hill in towards turn 9. That's a moment for Key to try and take advantage. Down we go towards turn 11. He was still behind the Alfa Romeo in towards turn 11. He'll focus on getting the better exit out of turn 11 here. He will get the DRS as well. Yes, there he goes. It opens up. But look at Schiaparelli as well. He is right on the back of this one, looking to get the toe on the Alfa Romeo. Down the inside he goes towards turn 12. Can he get them both into turn 12? Yes, he can! What a move from Schiaparelli! That is certainly the move of the race. It's not over yet, though, because Carlsbury trying to move up the inside of turn 13. No way through. What a move from Schiaparelli!
Carlsbury trying to go around the outside again, not going to pull it off, but my God, Schiaparelli put everything on the line there. You could tell he had balls going down the inside, and that is one of the finest moves I think I've ever seen around here at USA. Great driving between 3 of them, but Schiaparelli to go up the inside of both of them, absolutely unbelievable, and that was for the net lead of the race as well.
Absolutely, and he now moves up. His teammates in the pit lane now. Troll on the set of the soft tyres. Well, Cass is still leading out on track with Spike in second, but at this rate, Schiaparelli is going to catch them, maybe before they even visit the pits. He's on fire!
Absolutely brilliant, yeah. Toxic is beginning to catch as well. But Schiaparelli, Carlsbury, Toxic. Troll is beginning to re-listen. Troll actually just came out in the pits. He has, hasn't he?
Yes, he has, on the soft tyres.
Oh, Recon trying to go around the outside of Sean there through turn 2. Not quite going to get that move done, or is he? Recon looking quicker here than Sean. Oh, Sean just pretty much parks the bus down the inside there. And Recon has to hold on tight. But Recon is keeping up with Sean at this moment in time. But Sean looking like he will be quicker on those tyres. Don't rule him out, though.
Absolutely not, because Recon here will have some DRS heading down towards turn 12. But Carlsbury up the inside of Schiaparelli. He wants a bit of comeback here as we head in towards turn 13. He'll be around the outside, but he'll have the inside line for turn 14 and 15 if he can make it. But there you go, Schiaparelli saw that one coming. Defends the inside line there as we head in towards 15. Now coming towards 16, 17 and 18 here. Let's see what the lines are like through here. There you can see Schiaparelli got a better run through the triple right-hander, through now towards 19 and 20. Schiaparelli holds on, but gets himself a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, 3-second time penalty, which is going to be very costly indeed, I think, for Schiaparelli. But look at who is on the back of these. Toxic has came from absolutely nowhere. These two fighting out on track has really brought Toxic into play. Don't rule him out of this. And Cass for a bit of an upset as well. He's out on a soft compound of tyres, clearly ahead of Troll. This is wide open.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these drive-through penalties have really turned this race on its head. For all those drivers in the championship running who just wanted a nice, safe race, a nice, clean race, a nice, easy race, they're not getting that at all, James.
Yeah, Recon has just lost the position to Sean as well. So Recon is being outscored at every angle. He has been outscored by Carlsbury, he's been outscored by Navy, and he's also been outscored by whoever was in 4th position, which I think is Warren, but he's out of the race, isn't he? So he's been outscored by Carlsbury and Navy, his two most, his closest championship rivals. And in fact, Carlsbury now under pressure from Toxic. Not going to lunge it late on the brakes though.
Here is Spike though, meanwhile, trying to have a move on Navy down towards turn 12 on the soft tyres, up the inside. Can he try and hold on to this one? Yes, he can. Gets the move done and dusted. Meanwhile then, battle for the lead of the race. 11 laps to go, 10 and a bit if you're picky. Chapalele leads from Carlsbury and Toxic. They're all making their way through that triple right-hander. Onwards now towards the penultimate corner, then towards turn 20, the final corner, as we make our way now through there. Chapalele still leading. Carlsbury second, Toxic third. Cass still on the back here on the soft tyres. In 4th place, Straw not far away either. In 5th place, Spike in 6th, as Straw's just set the fastest lap of this race. Meanwhile, Toxic lunging down the inside in towards turn 1, up the inside of Carlsbury, and he's got the move done. Oh, but loses it back in instantly. That could have ended badly there for Toxic. He could have easily lost that front left tyre, but he gets away with it. But I think does he have front wing damage? I wonder.
He does.
Yeah, so he
left
does.
Side end plate damage.
So that is Toxic there. He got the move done and maybe just got a bit overexcited on that loud pedal, and it's unfortunately cost him and front wing end plate, which pretty much rules him out of a potential win here, or a challenge for the win at least. Cass holding off on Carlsbury through turn 11 so that he can get the DRS run down through turn 12.
Yeah, through the nature of the corner for Toxic, he got caught on the camber of the corner, the exit of the corner where the camber actually cuts away. Cass is just going past Carlsbury, and it looks like Troy is going past Toxic as well. It is literally all hell has broken loose here in America. Fantastic.
Absolutely, and Draw gets the move done. Toxic there with that damaged front wing. I don't know whether he'll just limp to the end or put on a set of soft tyres to get himself to the end there. It might be worth putting on the soft tyres. He could still try and get the fastest lap of this race. I mean, it's going to be tricky though, because he's got to finish in the top 10 for that to happen, and the field is relatively close together.
Yeah, he'll come out behind Toxic by a couple of seconds, I think, if he does decide to come into the pits. If that left side end plate damage is going to bother him, he should come into the pits. But he's going to continue on. I think it might be the best strategy, because I honestly believe if he stays out there and he stays within close contact, I think he's on for a 7th position. Draw right on the back of Carlsbury, going down the inside, the German on the fin. Has he got the move done? Cosby around the outside, he's back on the inside, switching it back, Troll on the inside line. It's very close, knit racing here, and the German just gets on top from Carlsbury. Brilliant action, and Troll has got the move done on much fresher tyres. But now, both Reynolds could get a 1 and 2, and Cass could be coming for an unlikely victory as well. As I say, the 1 week where I didn't say it was going to be race of the season, we might get it.
We might get race this season. Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it, James? Whatever you say, the opposite happens. That is for sure. Cass does have DRS behind Chapalele there, or does he? Because he hasn't activated it down the back straight. Troy then, meanwhile, is under pressure from Carlsbury once again. He's got the return job to do down towards turn 12. Will Carlsbury have a look down the inside? No, he actually backed out of a move there in towards turn 12. Interesting there from Carlsbury. I thought he was going to go down the inside, but not this time around. Meanwhile, Mashiro has got ahead of Light E. Recon has got ahead of Sean then in towards turn 12. So the Ferrari's now up a position once again. But Spike here right on the back of Toxic. Can he get the move done? No, just didn't quite get the traction out there.
Oh,
but look, slip up the inside there. Ooh. That was very, very narrow. That got tight so quickly there. And Toxic was able to defend going through the triple right-hander. But Spike has the better grip. He's got the better traction here. Meanwhile, we've got a battle for the race lead. We've got Chapalele and Casten making our way towards turn 1. Cass backs out of it this time as we head through the first turn. Down the hill we'll go towards turn 2. Meanwhile then Spike, I'm going to go around the outside of Toxic this time around. He should get the better traction out of the corner. And has he got the move done? Still on the inside there. Toxic trying to make the move stick, but doesn't quite happen. And Spike in the Toro Rosso moves up to 5th place. Cass, meanwhile, still putting that pressure on Shapalele as we make our way through turn 9, over the crest, through turn 10, and then onwards towards turn 11. We've only got a handful of laps to go. Well, I don't want this race to end, James. Oh, Cass tapping the back of Shapalele there in towards turn 12. He's lucky to come away with that with no damage whatsoever. Cass then does have DRS. He activates it this time around. Shapalele does his best to try and break the slipstream, but Cass is closing and closing at a rate of knots. Down the inside he'll go, down towards turn 12. Up the inside he will go, and he takes the lead of the United States Grand Prix. Cass leads in the Ferrari.
Shapalele now struggling on those tyres, so Cass is only going to pull out that gap. He's got a lap pressure over Troll as well. I'm going to check the penalties for the top 3 as they are currently. Cass has got a penalty, Shapalele has got a penalty, and Troll has got, oh goodness me, he's got quite a few. He's got 4 penalties as Troll, so advantage Cass at this stage.
Absolutely, absolutely indeed. So he's got to try and now break away. A Spike here. Whoa, that was close to the back of Carlsbury there. The door was half open and he sort of half thought, you know what, I'll try it, and then had to back out halfway through. What a half you see here. Meanwhile, Spike then now going down the inside of turn 1. Much wider track there, much easier to get the move done, and he has done. Up to 4th place he will go.
Spike impressing, I've got to say. We spoke about him in qualifying, and just before qualifying, I should say. But Spike is now beginning to really impress here out on track. He's coming into play. Carlsbury, Toxic, Navy and Recon, the unfortunate foursome, as I'm going to call them out on track, are now going to be locked together for a battle for, it seems, 5th place, because Carlsbury, Toxic and Navy are 5th, 6th and 7th. Key is on the back of Sean, though, coming through towards Sector 2. He's trying to get him. He's on the lap pressure tyres, actually, the Toro Rosso, and he's in the final point scoring position, well ahead of Mashiva and well ahead of Lighty, by the way, who came into the pits, possibly to go for the fastest lap of the race. But Key right on the back of Sean, and this is only going to be the closest battle down the straight. Can Key get the move done? Sean tries to break the slipstream, but yeah, I think you can only tell where this one is going to go, because Key is down the inside and the Brit down on his fellow countrymen. Is he going to get the move done? Sean's still there. It's going to be side by side towards turn 13. And Sean's back up the inside of him. It's still hammer and tongs between these two. Key down the inside on Sean. Sean around the outside. Oh, great move by Sean. He picked that one up to absolute perfection. Gets a move done around the outside. Job done. You're the 9th.
Absolutely. The gap there is so tight if you've got the inside line, and if the driver you're battling knows how to go around the outside there, it's really difficult to get that move done. Lap 23 of 28, Cass still leading by 1.2 seconds ahead of Shapalele. Troll 3rd, Spike 4th, with Carlsbury in 5th, Toxic in 6th, with Navy 7th, Recon in 8th, Sean in 9th. I say that, but Key has now taken back that position once again in towards turn 1. Sean's still around the outside, has to go off the track, but Key is able to hold on to that position, is he? Yeah, through turn 2 and through turn 3. Key does get that position done, albeit a couple of corners later than he might have liked it.
Yeah, Key actually just leaving room for Sean down the inside. Sean could have easily tried to go up that gap down the inside. I was on board with him. Key gave him enough room. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Lighty has spun around the final corner and is retired from the session. So Lighty out of the race, and he probably lost that on the curb on the exit of the final corner, I do believe. Navy right on the back of Toxic. Toxic carrying that front wing damage. You can probably tell where this one is going to go. Navy down the inside on Toxic. Has he got the move done? Toxic is still going to be very valiantly fighting this down the inside line. Navy around the outside line. Still side by side. Toxic just leans on him, but that's due to the front wing damage. And Navy just says, you know what, thank you very much for that one. And I think Navy is going to have the move done, but Toxic is surely not going to go around the outside here, and he backs off. And the sun is getting out towards the end of the race, and Navy's got the move done for P6.
Yeah, absolutely. Navy up to P6 there, and you can see that he wanted to go down the inside. Toxic tried to shut the door, and Navy thought, you know what, I'm just going to go down the inside even more than I was going to in the first place. Didn't get penalised for it either, so he's pushed the boundaries there and won.
Tell you what, it's a gap for the lead coming down, because Shapalele's catching.
It is indeed. This is the problem with the soft tyres, though, is that you get that outright pace to begin with, but at a certain point, the delta between the two tyres actually swings to favour the medium tyres, especially when the tyres start to grain now. But the track gets warmer, that might help the soft tyres, and it might prolong them a little bit longer. But the only problem is that Chapelele is closing at a rate of not 0.7 of a second, and that's not going to help because Cass here will be under threat from the DRS of Chapelele, heading down towards turn 12. 5 laps to go, 4.5 if you're picky. As you can see there, Chapelele still, well, he's actually using no ERS deployment whatsoever. He's just solely using DRS to try and catch Cass there in towards turn 12. So he's playing the waiting game at the moment and just trying to gnaw into that gap bit by bit.
They're beginning to pull away from Troll as well. 3.2 seconds the gap between Chapelele and Troll at this stage. But Cass beginning just maybe to struggle. The graining might be just starting to occur. The delta time will be swinging in favour to the mediums, as you say. But what would you rather be on at this stage in the race? A set of wearing soft compounder tyres or a set of wearing medium compounder tyres? Because that's what we've got from both drivers here tonight.
Well, the thing about the soft tyres is that the grip starts to fall away a lot quicker than the medium tyres. So medium tyres, you get a much more stable idea of how much grip you're going to have. With the soft tyres, they fall away quicker. So the grip you have deteriorates quicker, is what I should say. So you'll notice it more and more after each lap. So I think I'd rather be on the worn set of mediums at this point. I'd rather be in Chapelele's shoes right now. However, penalties will have to be taken into account, especially the on-track ones for track limits.
Yeah, Navy actually right on the back of Carlsbury, and yeah, the penalties will, and I'll have a look actually at the penalties between the top two. Castle on 1 penalty and Chapelele on 2 penalties. I forgot they picked up one on the first lap, so Chapelele picked up a penalty. I think that might have been served up already, but Carlsbury right on the back and Chapelele right on the back of Casper, the lead of the race. Here comes the German right on the back of the Dane, and this I think is going to be job done down the straight for Chapelele. He clearly had the speed, he's got enough time to take down the ERS 2 mode 0, and he's got the move done. And Cass, don't think was going to put up a fight for that one, but Spike got ruled out of this either, and he's down the inside of Troll. It's all kicking off because Carlsbury is now fighting with Navy. 3 battles, which one do you want to go on? Spike around the outside of Troll, Navy and Carlsbury. This is unbelievable racing from the guys out on track, and Spike's got the move done on Troll, and Navy has got past Carlsbury as well.
Yeah, I mean, I just picked a battle and stuck with it. I've got to be honest, I didn't really know where to go there, but Spike has got the position then against Straw, and Navy moves ahead of Carlsbury as we now head in towards the final couple of laps. 3 laps to go, in fact, of the United States Grand Prix.
As Troll got front wing damage on the right side end plate, he just seemed to struggle around the last couple of corners there. I think there might be something underlying on Troll's car, and he might have a bit of end plate damage. That's why he might have been losing the time to Cass and Chapelele.
It might be as well, because those tyres might be starting to see their best before day. Oh, it is his end plate. Really?
Right side end plate, yeah.
Really?
Missing a winglet, I think.
I couldn't see that on my view, but I'll take your word for it, James. Right-hand side, I can't see anything wrong with it, but I'll take your word for it. There might be damage to that car. Obviously, sometimes you might not be able to see it. Sometimes, James, you'll be able to see it more clearly than me. Maybe I haven't got my glasses on.
Yeah, Troll, actually, I think one of his winglets might be missing on the right side end plate. I'm fairly sure. He opens up that DRS now to try and get Spike down the straight. Look at the closing speed for Troll. Don't think he's going to be close enough though for the move, and Spike will hold on to P3. But Troll, valiantly as he might, I think they're both going to come back into the clutches of Navy, who could possibly pick up a top 3. Did he said something else there?
Yeah, remember Spike does have penalties to be applied after the race has finished. On-track penalties, that is. So we'll have to see how that goes. I'm going to pass on Troll because I don't know. I haven't been watching the race director on the bottom left-hand corner enough, quite clearly. So I won't know that one. However, the battle for the lead again heats up. Oh, there you go. Then Troll does pick up a 3-second time penalty. Well, I've answered my own question. Thank you, game, for doing that one. Chapelele then starts the penultimate lap of the race in the lead of this one. Cass 7/10 behind, not far behind either. Troll then trying to chase down third place man Spike in towards turn 1. 2 different lines being taken there. Navy's a little bit on his own at the moment. He can see the battle ahead of him for the podium positions, but he himself is 2.6 seconds behind Troll. Carlsbury in 6th place. Toxic running in in 7th with Recon in 8th, Key in 9th, Sean rounding out the top 10, and Mashiro there is in 11th place on 17-lap-old medium tyres. Watch out for Carlsbury towards the end though, because those tyres could start to be his downfall. He might fall into the clutches of Toxic there.
Yeah, nearly actually lost the back end through turn 9, I think that was, and Carlsbury now beginning to play with fire, I think, quite literally, with those rear tyres. Don't be surprised if he gets a puncture on the final lap. So I think that's what might happen, and the same might go for Schiaparelli as well. But in terms of penalties, just picking up on that, Spike and Shaw both have 5 penalties, respectively. So that's 15 seconds. Navy, I think, has only got 9 seconds worth of penalties. Sorry, no, he's actually only got 3 worth. So Navy in pole position to take P3.
Draw there running a little bit wayward actually out of turn 15. Not quite sure what happened. However, he's still trying to push hard and push on to try and take something out of this race. Meanwhile then, there goes Schiaparelli to start the final lap of the United States Grand Prix here in TTL F1. This penultimate round has thrown a real spanner into the works when it comes to the championship standings. My goodness, what a race it has been. But final lap has begun. Schiaparelli leads it right now, and to take this into account here, Schiaparelli, who is currently joint 13th in the championship alongside with Key. Obviously, I believe he's a reserve driver until the end of this season. We've got yellow flags in Sector 1. Is that the prophecy come true for Mr. James Head? It is! It's a puncture for Carlsbury. He is struggling now to try and limp that car home. He's trying to battle as well. That is a puncture, a definite puncture, but which side is it on? Here.
Is it?
Is it a puncture? Yes, it is.
I don't think he's got a puncture.
Oh, there's contact in the background as well between Toxic and Recon. No, my apologies. I thought for a moment there I saw yellow flags. I saw it now for a moment. I saw that he might have got a puncture there, but no, he's holding on. Toxic just about holding on to 7th place as well here. Ooh. But it's getting a bit heated between himself and Recon here, heading down the back straight through turn 12 as we now head towards that braking zone here. You can see Toxic's got the slipstream of the Alfa Romeo. He hits him there. Carlsbury's got damage to the front wing here. We'll just jump on board with the race leader for the final couple of corners here. Schiaparelli comes around the penultimate corner and onwards now towards the final corner. Schiaparelli comes across the line to win the United States Grand Prix. He'll cross the line first. Casten will come across the line in 2nd place, and Spike will finish this race in 3rd place. We'll have to see how the penalties take effect there. Navy will come across the line there in 5th place. Will he be promoted up? Yes, he will, to 4th place. How about Recon coming across the line? He now gets up to 5th place. Toxic moves all the way up to 5th. Carlsbury in 7th place, with Shaw now moving down to 8th place. Key coming across the line in 9th place. Sean will come across the line in 10th, and Mashiro will follow him through to take 11th place. But your race winner here for the United States Grand Prix, it's Schiaparelli, who wins in Texas. Well, well, well. What has that done to the championship? It has completely turned it on its head. But Schiaparelli gets a win here at the United States Grand Prix, and it's 25 points going back home to the Renault team.
Fantastic win for Schiaparelli. I think he was the one that... it was obviously one of the front 7 that actually pitted early on in the race as well. So Schiaparelli manages to do the impossible. From a drive-through penalty, pick out a strategy to perfection, and I would say kind of dominate the second half of the race there. Pure speed got him through that.
Absolutely, and here are your official, unofficial results. Schiaparelli takes the race win from Cass in 2nd, Spike in 3rd with Navy in 4th, Toxic 5th and Recon in 6th. Carlsbury in 7th, Trott in 8th, Key in 9th and Sean rounds out the top 10. It's Mashira in 11th, Lighty 12th, Flying Cooper and Warren there. Oh, sorry, Lighty, Flying Cooper and Warren all retiring from the race, with the fastest lap of the race, I believe, going to one Spike there, 134.4. He will pick up the extra fastest lap bonus point then, so he will score 16 points rather than 15. In terms of championship here, well, Cass will get a huge points boost here up the order, but he was down in 16th place. Navy was the top scorers out of those ones, because Carlsbury actually finished behind. Recon lost ground, but not as much ground as he could have done. Championship, I think, stays alive now.
championship is going to a three-way decider, I believe, for the final round of the championship. I'm just doing the maths in my head, and I'm just going to check the race result now, and I'll confirm it in just a second.
Well, whilst we do that, what a race. I always tell you, COTA is one of those races where it's just designed for great on-track battling. So I'm really happy we had a great race, and drive-through penalties galore there. Just to take you through those results, let's have a look here, because Recon finished in 6th there, with Navy finishing 4th, and Carlsbury 7th. So between 6th and 7th is 2 points, isn't it?
I do believe, I'm having a look at the standings now, Recon would be on 129 points, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. No, he won't. He'll be on 131 points because he finished in 6th. So 131 points. Navy will be on 109. 22 points the gap into the final race of the season, and Carlsbury picked up 7th, which is 6. So he's on 107. 24 points between the top 3, I make it.
So in sparkling quick maths, unofficially we are going to the final round of the season to decide this championship, but the advantage weighs heavily with Recon, where Recon didn't have a great race. Neither did his championship rivals either to take full advantage. So he's got a big lead heading into the final race. But I tell you what, it's not over, James, until we're done with Abu Dhabi.
It's definitely not over. And
in fact,
to be
it's
honest,
not Abu Dhabi, is it? It's Brazil.
It is not. Yeah, is it? Let's have a look. It is
Brazil.
Abu Dhabi. You are right.
Is it? No.
No, it's Abu Dhabi.
No.
I've just seen the calendar.
Well, Abu Dhabi it is then, yeah. Okay, then.
Oh, but honestly, I think it just bears into mind, and I think it's a repeat of what I've said throughout this stream, how wide open this season has actually been on paper, and it just comes to prove we're having a three-way battle unofficially into the final race of the season. And I think that really bears in mind the talent that we've got here in TTL F1. Yes, it was a little bit over the edge, I think, on the final lap from a couple of the drivers, but apart from that, a really good race, blown open by the start, which turned the race on its head completely, and we've got a three-way battle unofficially out of it. Fantastic.
Absolutely, and well, the only thing left to do now is to join us for the championship decider next week at Abu Dhabi. Hopefully you will join us then. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time TTTV goes live. The next time we go live, Mr. James, I believe it is tomorrow.
TTL F1 League 2 tomorrow. It is the Challenge Cup. Mashiro taking an early championship lead into that, and I'm going to be joined by Paco Suarez in the commentary box next for tomorrow and for next week as well. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And of course, Saturday is CLC once again. GT3 Tier 2 at 7:30, GT3 Tier 1 at 8:30. So if you're wanting just to purely tune in for me, I'm on the 8:30 one.
Yes, go tune into James. Why not? But obviously, get as much racing as you can here because we run it nearly every day here on TTTV. So make sure you do hit the notification bell so you don't miss a beat. Also, if you're a fan of the league, make sure you follow the league on Twitter at TTL_F1. If you're a fan of the commentary team, you can follow your commentators. You can follow myself at KS McGinley. That's MCGINLEY. Good luck with that. And you can also follow the lovely Mr. James Head at B52 Head. That's Bravo 52 Head. Well, James, final round of the season next week. We have a championship to decide. I can't wait.
I can't wait either. I think it's going to be probably the most excited I've been for a season finale ever in a league. There you go. You've heard it here first.
Well, there you go. So what more do we need to convince you to tune in next week? I guess by telling you to tune in next week. But there you go. Thank you very much for watching this one. We will see you for the season finale next week here on TTTV. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. I've been Kieran McGinley.
I've been James Head.
Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time.